Rajya, please.
Thank you, sir. Sir, today the country is passing through a very critical period. The President's address and the government's response do not actually address the challenges appropriately. Sir, I would not speak on budget proposals. When I participate in the discussion on budget, I will speak on those budget proposals. I will confine to certain policy issues. I agree with the leader of the opposition on the issues which he raised. Sir, the democracy in the country is in unprecedented distress. That poses a grave challenge to the people and the progress of the nation. The situation in the country is very scary. Let us not take people for granted. People feel insecure. People in general, they feel insecure. Sir, the whole question is, India as a nation, the parliamentary democracy which we have built up till now, are capable of fighting the pressures. The United States of America declared strategic partnership with India. One of the purposes of the strategic partnership is that China needs to be reined in. In the context of this partnership, the US government's development agency, USAID, has negotiated cooperation agreements with the Indian Finance Ministry. One of these has declared, one of the goals has declared is to push back the use of cash in favor of digital payments in India and globally.
They have signed agreement.
Globally. Sir, India and US have entered into many defense cooperation agreements. They have signed defense logistics agreements. This parliament, we consider, is supreme. It represents the collective will of the people. I do not think the government has taken this parliament into confidence. In fact, my concern is the foreign policy of the country is under pressure. It is being influenced by US, and India is becoming subservient to American policies. India is willingly becoming a junior ally, a junior strategic ally of US. It compromises the independent foreign policy of the nation. India's foreign policy does not belong to one party, which is in power or which was in power or which can come to power. India's foreign policy always one which evolves on the basis of consensus. It is India's foreign policy is on the basis of a national consensus. That national consensus is being broken by you, by this present government. That is my charge. We can debate, keeping in view the interests of the country. I'm speaking for the country. My country should pursue an independent sovereign foreign policy. It should not be influenced by any imperial power. But today it is happening. This is a major concern. And it is not only on foreign policy, it is happening on domestic policy also. That is exactly I am talking about demonetization. Demonetization, according to me, has not been announced in isolation. It has a context. The compromise on our sovereign policies, foreign policies, domestic policies is a major concern. Otherwise, President's address notes that we are having international engagements, everything. What is the purpose? I am asking whether India plays a proactive role in the conduct of world affairs. What are we doing as far as the Palestine question is concerned? What is our proactive role due to, in the context of developments that are taking place in West Asia? Forget all those things. What is our proactive role in the context of Sri Lanka? The war was over in 2009. I have spoken many times in this house. Now the Sri Lankan Tamils have not got their justice. War crimes have not been taken up as they should have been taken up. And many thousands of Sri Lankan Tamil youths, even today, have been declared disappeared. Women are living as semi-widows. India, being the neighbor, India should have taken up this issue as it should have. Why? Why India has not taken up? That is where I think there is a concern. India allows itself to compromise its independent foreign policies, and President's address has not spoken on this issue, and government response is not appropriate on this issue. Coming to other issues, there is growing water disputes in the country. I don't mean only Kaveri, but growing water disputes. What is the policy of the government? In the coming days, it is going to be a major challenge, and it can pose threat to the unity and integrity of the nation. And government should have a policy on cooperative federalism, competitive federalism. These are all words. But actually whether government has political will, that's what I'm saying. And Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, even all the spokespersons of BJP, they refer these government concerns for youth. How do we look at our youth? Our youth is the future of our nation. President refers India as a country of young people. And what is our responsibility to our youth? What is our obligation to our youth? Youth today in our country live in hopelessness. They are living in joblessness, and they are the future. And there is unrest everywhere. There is unrest, and it includes the students also. I am asking the government, you are discarding all colonial practices. And one small thing I ask the government to do, you discard the sedition clause, sedition laws in this country. Why our students should be charged with sedition charges? Why the Jawaharlal Nehru University students should be charged with sedition charges? What happened to Rohit Vemula in Hyderabad Central University? It was an institutional murder, and the young people are demanding a legislation to stop this discriminations and to stop these institutional models, whether we have the political will. Political will. What is happening today, sir? If you question the Prime Minister, if you say something against the Prime Minister, you are being dubbed as anti-national. Questioning the Prime Minister is anti-national. Who taught you this politics? Who taught you this democracy? I am quoting, now you are taking the name of Dr. Ambedkar, and I am telling you what Dr. Ambedkar has said. What Dr. Ambedkar had said, in politics, bhakti or hero worship is sure road to degradation and to eventual dictatorship. Do you want dictatorship in this country? A fascist dictatorial regime in this country? How can you dub people, question the government is anti-national, question the Prime Minister is anti-national, criticizing the government is anti-national, unpatriotic? What is this happening in this country? That is why I am saying this poses a challenge to the Republic and its constitution, and Derek O'Brien also spoke about Dalits, Adivasis. Sir, with Agani I am telling you how our tribal people are treated in this country. There is an undeclared war on the tribal people in this country. Why they should be massacred? President's address doesn't speak about the increasing atrocities on Dalits. Everyone wants to shed crocodile tears for Dalits. But what is happening on the ground? What is this government doing to stop the atrocities against Dalits? And you talk about scheduled caste sub-plan, we are increasing the money. Tribal sub-plan, we are increasing the money. But you have replaced Planning Commission with the Niti Aayog. Planning Commission has given the directive, the sub-plans should be according to the population of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Where is Planning Commission? Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog says go towards privatization. Go towards privatization. Reckless disinvestment of public sector undertakings. And RSS and other organizations will come out and they will say review the reservation policy. Review the reservation policy. We don't mind. And review the national wealth policy also. Who creates national wealth in this country? If not Dalits and Adivasis, if not the workers, the farmers, agricultural workers, who creates the national wealth? What is their share in the national wealth? I would like to ask the government and all political parties, touch your conscience and tell the people of this country, what is the share of Dalits, Adivasis, workers, farmers, agricultural workers in the national wealth which they create? Now you are talking about sub-plans. We are increasing the amount. Is it not just to hoodwink the people? Will it work in this country? And you talk about women. And my colleague also raised that issue. Where is the reservation for women? How many times we used to ask for reservation? It is not question of only reservation. Some 33% they should come to parliament or they should go to state assemblies. What is the social security to our women? And women should have gender equality. Women should have gender justice. And as a nation, are we standing up for women? This is what we should think of. And the same thing with the children. So, sir, the situation is very challenging. And the President's address really doesn't address to the challenges. In fact, inequalities, disparities are on the rise. And I would like to remind you what Mr. K.R. Narayan, he was Vice President, he was President, he was Chairman of this House. Once Mr. K.R. Narayan, the President of India, when he was President, and in one of the Republic Day speeches, he cautioned that if on our highway of privatization and globalization, safe pedestrian passages are not provided for the unemployed and unempowered, then the long-suffering and silent people would exhibit anger which would be explosive for the system to withstand. Sir, exactly the same
Mr. Raja,
caution
please,
was...
1 minute. It is 6 o'clock. If the House so wishes, we can extend the time and continue.
No, tomorrow.
Then we will give him, we will give Raja 2 more minutes.
Okay.
And let him 2 more, no. Within 2 minutes he will conclude and then we can adjourn.
Sir, exactly the same caution was given by Dr. Ambedkar in his last speech in the Constituent Assembly. And Dr. Ambedkar, he was a great genius, very prophetic. He said on the 26th of January 1950, we all must have read that speech. But what I am trying to say, the same thing Dr. Ambedkar said, how long if we continue to deny equality in our social and economic life, we will do so only by putting our political democracy in peril. We must remove this contradiction at the earliest possible moment, or else those who suffer from inequality will blow up the structure of political democracy which this assembly has laboriously built up. But now what is happening? Those who suffer from inequalities, disparities, they are not blowing up the structures of political democracy. But those who want to perpetuate the inequality and disparities, they are blowing up the structures of political democracy. Sir, I am finishing. That poses a great threat to secularism, to democracy. And India is not a theocracy. And the President address should have referred to what is happening in our country. The right-wing fundamentalist forces are instigating people against each other, and they are really posing threat to democracy.
Yes, thank you.
And there is no place for theocracy in our country. But in the name of Hindutva or in the name of other isms, the religious fundamentalists, communal fascists are posing threat to our secular fabric of our country, secular fabric of our constitution. All these questions need to be addressed, otherwise India cannot move forward. We all want our nation to move forward. India should move forward. India should become a prosperous country,
And
a modern country, a modern republic, and it should emerge as a great, inspiring, modern republic in the world. But the republic is challenged. Constitution is challenged by reactionary forces, by communal forces. This needs to be understood, and this House should stand up to save this country. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Raja. The House stands adjourned till 11 a.m. on Friday, the 3rd February 2017. 17. Come on.
Okay.
Statesmanly.